Hey, welcome in, folks. Listen, today I'm going to talk about oil and gas prices explained in five simple steps. So, five, five simple steps that actually work. So, I'm going to dive right in. Bill and I are going multiple different directions. So, I'm flying solo today. So, listen, welcome in. Be sure to drop any likes, comments, so on and so forth. But many people, when they look at commodities, especially energy commodities, they get confused. What should I focus on? So I'm going to break this down into five simple steps. Now, spoiler alert, each one of these steps could be a 10-hour conversation. So it is five simple steps, but there's a lot of steps to each one. So I'm going to break it down. I'm going to show you how to get access to information that will guide you in your journey to understand oil and gas prices. And it's not just understanding where we are, but where we're going. So that is kind of the key. So let's go ahead and dive in. So first is taking a look at the technicals. So a lot of people think that technicals rule everything, and they do and they don't. So when it gets to commodity markets, there are technicals and there are fundamentals. Sometimes technicals are driving the bus and sometimes fundamentals. And for those that don't understand what technicals are, these are moving average indicators, crossover systems, exponential moving averages, RSI, Bollinger Bands, Fibonacci. I don't know. There's hundreds. There's hundreds of technical indicators, and if you take some time to study a little bit about technicals, there are chart patterns. There are, like I said, over 100 different technical indicators, and these should be viewed upon on any trader or anybody that is trying to evaluate a market, because it tells you what the future may hold, not will hold, but may hold. So technicals is one place to look. And what I typically look at is TradingView. TradingView is a fantastic tool that allows you, let me just expand one of these, that allows you different technical indicators to look at. For instance, if I click on indicators, you can see that there are, these are all the technical indicators that you can put on your chart. So these are, as you can see, a lot of different indicators, and there's even strategies, profiles, and patterns. There's pattern recognitions. For example, many, pardon me, many people look at channels, but also some look at triangles. That's a pattern. There is a head and shoulders, which is like here's a shoulder, here's a shoulder, here's a head. And so this is called a head and shoulders pattern, where it kind of moves like this. And then when it broke down, as you can see, it continued. So there are multiple technicals will take years to master, but TradingView is one place to look at the technicals. Bar chart is another one. For instance, they actually have a bar chart opinion, and they actually look at a trend seeker. This is on crude oil, and they actually have a current strength, current direction. This is a mathematical way to evaluate, and what they look at is a lot of crossovers: moving average versus price, moving average crossover, Bollinger Band, and they look at crossovers, which is one view of the market, but like I said, there's literally hundreds there. So anyhow, technicals is one place to look at it. Fundamentals, fundamentals. If you're looking at oil and gas, there's going to be crude oil fundamentals, natural gas fundamentals. The first place that I would look for on the crude oil fundamentals is the weekly petroleum status report. So in this report, there are multiple things to look at. For instance, they have the U.S. petroleum balance sheet, where they look at crude oil stocks, motor gasoline stocks, ethanol, kerosene, distillate. So when you think about crude oil, many people think only about crude oil. Well, crude oil goes into a refinery. Crude oil can be used in engines or jets or trucks. It has to be refined. So crude oil is upstream of a refinery, and motor gasoline, diesel, jet fuel is on the tailgate of the refinery. So evaluating what the health of the market is on stocks for those products upstream of the refinery and downstream of the refinery may be indicators. Are you oversupplied, undersupplied, so on and so forth. So these are some of the factors that you look at for crude oil. And like I said, each one of these bullet points, technicals, could take years of study. Fundamentals could take years of study. So but crude oil is one place to the petroleum status report is the one place to look there. Another one for natural gas is the weekly natural gas storage report, which is viewed and released every Thursday. And it is released, next release is going to be September 4th. I'm recording this on September 1st. So listen, this is one place to look. Also, natural gas weekly update. What you'll notice is all three of these reports are from the Energy Information Administration. So there are other tools, other resources that institutional traders look at that give you a higher frequency of that data. So and in here you look at market production, dry production, Canadian imports, LNG, demand, and rig counts. There's a lot of information in here. However, you can't really interact with some of this information. You can only visually go, what does that look like? And of course, this chart goes back to January of 2007. So how much relevance is that going to have today? So fundamentals is another place to look. Then you look at news. And again, this is part of the reason I like TradingView, because it does put a lot in the same place. But what they have is I don't know what this show me. Okay, got it. All right, there we go. So when you click on news, you can see all these different articles in here. And if you are really watching the market, clicking through and reading each one of these reports is going to be important. And of course, you do this for natural gas, you do it for crude oil. And there is, when you look at bar chart, let's see where they have it. I don't think they have a they have some recent stories, but when you're looking at crude oil, you can see Chevron, Accenture, hurricane season. There's some other places that bar chart puts some information. For instance, right here is some good information that bar chart puts out. So news is another place to look at it. And that is looking at the expectation versus reality. Sentiment is capturing the technical sentiment, the fundamental sentiment, the news sentiment, and really understanding what is kind of the mood of the market. And the place to look there is the CFTC Commitment of Traders report. Now, this report breaks down what commercials, which are industry players, what hedge funds are doing, what consumers are doing, what individual participants are, whether they're long or short. It tells you an opinion. So you could spend a lot of time on CFTC trying to understand Commitment of Traders report. But news is one sentiment, CFTC is another sentiment, because that's where fear and greed are really transpired. And then you combine all these together. So if that sounds like a lot, it is. And this is part of the reason that oil and natural gas traders, hedgers, industry participants have to spend a lot of time evaluating different factors of the market. Each one of these could take you probably 10 to 15 hours a week. So after now, I'm going to introduce you to Energy Rogue and our product. I'm just going to show you how simple it is, and you don't have to come to us. You can find these resources. I just pointed to some open information, and hopefully, if you have some questions after this video, email me and I will drop you a copy of this presentation so that you can follow along. But just drop me a comment and let me know. But capturing all these together is sometimes a little overwhelming. When you look at technicals, you could spend hours every day. Fundamentals, you could spend hours every day. News, you have to spend every day on it, even weekends. And sentiment, every day. Now, what we've built is we've built Rogue Radar, which is only $89 a month. There's a 14-day free trial down below. And at twice a week, a video comes out that talks about the market and what is happening. I break down some of the fundamentals, some of the technicals, and I condense things. And every Monday morning before the week starts, you get this report that tells you particular price levels for crude, natural gas, heating oil, as well as multiple charts that talk about what is happening in the marketplace. Later in the week, after news is released, we have Rogue Radar. This gives you a convenient red light, green light system, plus narrative about the market, key developments, main takeaways, bullish and bearish factors. But that's not all. With that $89 a month, you get access to this. Natural gas radar. I'm going to focus on natural gas right now. Every day, I submit my thoughts on what is happening in the marketplace. And then there's an update today, executive summary, technical analysis. Let me take you through this. Brian's thoughts, today's update, an executive summary, technical analysis that gives you moderately bearish. It tells you whether it's a bearish signal. It looks at moving averages, MACD, RSI, the volume versus the 20 days, stochastic, ADX, Williams percent R, and Bollinger Band. It puts all of these into one signal that tells you it's moderately bearish. So this is condensing all that research into something that you can just open up every day and read that it's moderately bearish. Then after that, you got fundamentals. Fundamentals will tell you where you are current versus last week versus last year versus 3-year average, and supply demand balance with all the storage, production, imports, exports, supply, demand, everything. Weather analysis, which is super important, natural gas if you're watching, economic analysis, because sometimes there is some interplay between the John Murphy had a great book on intermarket analysis. So the dollar impact could impact natural gas prices. CFTC, this is important, gives you a sentiment. It actually evaluates what the current sentiment of the market is, the open interest, managed money, producer, merchant, swap dealers, and other reportables. It actually tells you whether they're long or short. LNG markets, what's happening in the LNG markets, what the forward curve for LNG markets. For instance, you may look at next spring and go, ooh, whoa, we're gonna be dropping. Um, news and sentiment. This is an AI system that read 47 articles and did come up with a neutral, but it does have a commodity sentiment, and natural gas is modestly bullish because it's green and it's 0.6. Crude oil is modestly bearish because it's negative 0.7, and it's on a scale of +1 to -1. So it tells you kind of an indicator. Plus, for your reference, you have links to all the articles down below. Then you have Fibonacci analysis, tells you particular levels that are important, a machine learning price prediction, and then an AI analysis that tells you if you're an energy trader, producer, consumer, commodity, professional. So this runs every single night. And you get this all for $89 a month, 14-day free trial down below. But again, the key is to evaluate for yourself technicals, fundamentals, news, sentiment, and then package it all up together into your strategy. So Rogue Radar does this for you so that it gives you a head start and it saves probably 30 hours a week. I know that because I spent 30 hours a week before we created Energy Rogue. My name is Brian. I'm a energy commodity trader since 1995. So I've been in and around energy commodities, crude oil, natural gas, NGLs, refined products. And after struggling to find a easy way to consume all this information, we built Rogue Radar so that it's accessible to everybody. So that's what I have for you today. Hopefully that was good. I try and keep this short. And again, this is a 14-day free trial down below. Try us out. Let us know what you're thinking. And hopefully this gives you a head start on how to mirror this strategy if you're using other commodities or so on and so forth. Use this same structure and you're going to be more organized about your plan. So listen, thanks so much. Thanks for listening to me talk. And if you learned something today, do me a favor, drop a like, drop a comment. Would love to hear from you. And I hope you have a fantastic day. Talk soon.